I would, and my track record is very clear, because when I became editor of the Nation, the Muslim newspaper at the age of 29, the youngest editor in South Asia, this whole team developed with me, and my motto has always been teamwork and homework, because I feel one-man show cannot work, whether it's Dr. Malia Lodi, whether it's Dr. Shirin Mazari, whether it's Rahimullah Yusufzai, Nusrat Javed, Mariana Pazar, Kamran Khan, all these people, they emerged in the Muslim when I was the editor, and we built up a team. So I think that you have to have that kind of confidence, that you have to have people who are bright and competent, and you should not feel insecure. Unfortunately, the problem is that, and I'll be very frank about it, it includes even in our party as well, that most of the traditional politicians are scared of their own shadow, and they only encourage people who are either from their own families or from their own clans, and that is a major problem in Pakistan. That's why we close the doors of progress to merit. But I think there are more people like me who are coming into the system, who are coming into the process, and then they have to make their way through. But normally, I agree with you, the doors for such people are closed, but things are now changing, and I think that 21st century Pakistan is going to be certainly different and better than the past.
Inshallah. Let's move on to the next point of our conversation. Pervez Musharraf. As I said in the overview, for some he's a hero, for some he's a great villain. Which aspect do you personally think he has more as an effect on Pakistan and the youth of Pakistan and people in general as well?
You see, first of all, I don't believe in slotting people either as heroes only or villains only. Every person has certain attributes, their pluses and minuses. When Chairman Mao Zedong was asked once about himself, he said, I am 70% positive and 30% negative. And he described it himself. I think Mr. Musharraf's main problem arose after, and I jokingly said this in a television program, that there used to be an American Hollywood movie called The 7-Year Itch, that after 7 years of marriage, there are problems that develop. I think in Pakistan, after 7 years being in power, you have problems developing, and you develop that kind of overconfidence that you can pull everything off, that overconfidence almost bordering on even arrogance, that okay, what I say goes. And you can see that he started making mistakes, especially with the judicial crisis, the killing of Mr. Bhupti, and the emergency, and all of these issues. I differed with him privately as well as publicly. And he took that criticism in stride, by the way. And I think that is when he started going down. If you remember, in January 2007, his popularity rating was 70%, according to the poll of the International Republican Institute, IRI. And he and Putin were the only two people after 7 years in office who had that kind of popularity rating. But after that, he started slipping, and he was unable, and where I think he went wrong was that he was unwilling and unable to reverse the wrong. And normally he had done it in the past. I mean, he was the person who had done the coup against Mr. Nawaz Sharif, and then he let Mr. Nawaz Sharif go into exile in Saudi Arabia. Here's the person who was supposed to be the hawkish on India, and he also went to Agra to do a peace deal with India. Here was the person who was said to be the so-called father of the Taliban, and here was the one who really took them on after 9/11. So he had that ability to be flexible and to, I think, be pragmatic. But I think he lost that ability, this big quality that he had in him in 2007, I would say 6 and 7, rigidity, unwillingness to change course. And I think that really cost him a lot. You can see from the case of Mr. Obama here, he's won the election and he's reaching out to his own rivals, inviting Hillary Clinton, inviting Gates to join his cabinet. I think that is what is needed in that situation, and that's where he slipped up, I think.
Okay. Now, one thing that still strikes everybody in Pakistan is that what happened as soon as the democratic government, like from a normal average Pakistani educated student's point of view, one day we had a 60 rupees worth of a dollar. We had $18 billion in our accounts. We were doing excellent. Everything was booming. We were still able to give subsidies on oil and everything. What happens overnight? Is it what Ishaq Star's a man who remained Pakistan's finance minister for a few days, is that his press conference did all the blunder, or is it coming from the worst activities done by the end of Musharraf's tenure or your government?
Actually, the slippage had started in the last year of Mr. Musharraf's rule in 2007. And but despite that slippage, because of the political crisis in Pakistan, judiciary, media, emergency, the Benazir assassination, and also the rise of terrorism, the Lal Mosque, Masjid, and so forth, other issues, that problem had aggravated. It was having an impact on the economy. But despite that, by and large, the business community in Pakistan had confidence in Mr. Musharraf and his policies. And the confidence was based on the track record. After all, the indicators were positive, whether it's exports, whether it's deficit financing, whether it's the rupee ratio versus the dollar, whether it's the remittances from overseas Pakistanis, whether it's the increase in the revenue and the tax base. So those indicators were positive, and people, there was investment and so forth taking place. But after this, the sudden change and after the elections, I think that one major factor was the loss of confidence, which coincided unfortunately with the dramatic increase in oil prices and also with the international economic crisis.
Okay. Now, from your point of view, what I am analyzing is that Pakistan Muslim League Quaid-e-Azam is playing if I should not say a friendly opposition, but a good opposition's role. We're not only criticizing but also helping, like your stance, and this will also lead to my next question. Your stance. You're in Washington DC, you're in New York, you're in America, you're talking to people, especially Obama's advisors, you're meeting with them, you're trying to figure out, you're lobbying for Pakistan as much as I can see, and you're helping a lot of issues. Now, when you meet with all of these people, and then there is a concept in Pakistan, if I should not say majority, but most of the Pakistanis do hate United States foreign policy, in a sense that they're destroying Pakistan, they're destroying Pakistan's economy, especially the drone attacks which are going on despite the whatever the government is saying, especially the statements coming from the army chief. How do you see where Pakistan is standing at this very instance when you are talking in the powerhouses of America?
You see, first of all, you talked about my politics. I always try that when you're talking of Pakistan, outside Pakistan, even inside on issues, I feel that one should speak about partisan lines. Because the problems of Pakistan are such that no one person, no one party, no one government, no one institution can do it on its own. We all have to do it together. And that has been my premise within Pakistan also, the politics of consensus. And I was the one who first started talking about national reconciliation, if you remember, in May 2004, in my speech in the Senate, where I called for the release of all political prisoners, including Mr. Zardari, Mr. Hashmi, and Mr. Yusuf Zagilani. Here I've told Mr. Obama's advisors that, look here, they asked me, what should we do? I said, look here, I gave them a checklist. Start off, the first thing President Barack Hussain Obama should do on 20th January when he takes over is close down Guantanamo Bay. Because it is a symbol of all that is wrong with U.S. policy towards the Muslim world. It's a violation of international law, it's a violation of human rights, it's a violation of the American Constitution and all that America has stood for in the past. Secondly, stop using arrogant language. Change your demeanor. Have a more humble foreign policy. Just do more things. Either you are with us or against us or fighting it out. That needs to be changed. Thirdly, stop these military attacks on Pakistan, because that is a violation of international law. It's an act of aggression, and it provokes a popular backlash, and it is counterproductive. It stokes the fires of anti-Americanism. Fourthly, appoint a special envoy to Pakistan and to the region, to Afghanistan, presidential envoy who should be dealing with issues between Pakistan and Afghanistan and also the Kashmir issue. That without solving these issues, you cannot resolve, you cannot have peace, security, and stability. Just as now the Americans have realized that without solving Palestine, you cannot have peace in the Middle East. And fifthly, the Biden-Lugar bill should be put on the fast track. It has been passed by the Senate Foreign Relations Committee unanimously, but unfortunately, it's not been presented before the House. And I said to them that they are double standards. You talk of Pakistan and Afghanistan being so important for your interests, but the Biden-Lugar bill is still on hold, while the India-US nuclear accord was passed in a jiffy in an emergency